Alright, BobalosRex here. And honestly, I should have changed the light because remember back in Dragonflight when I talked about patch, um, I guess 10.2, and I called that Guardians of Amir or something like that. Or Defense of Amir that's right. I feel like I've had the theory. Remember I had my last theory where I felt like 90 I was at like 99% or 90-ish percent when I combined the two 11.2 theories. But at this point in time, and it's funny what this video came from. I'm going to explain where this video came from at the end. But at this point in time, I am, okay, 100% certain 11.2 is the Orweyna and Haranir patch. The entire expansion has been kind of leading us to this root Orweyna Coreway Worldcore story. And I'm telling you, the ethereals, that Koresh stuff, that's midnight. That's midnight. Blizzard was like, look over here at midnight. Think about housing at midnight. When what is staring at us below our feet? The Worldcore. And what some people want to call the Deep Grove. You know, we got plenty of names. We'll have to see what it's eventually called. But I'm just calling it the Worldcore Zone. Because the way I'm seeing this zone, because I'm almost seeing it clearly now. Imagine, because here's what it's got to include, right? I'm going to tell y'all all the things it's got to include. One, it's got to include Orweyna stuff. What has been her story? We're going to talk about what has been her story, and I even have her pulled up. What are the other little threads leading us down? And then what do we know about the Haranir people? Okay. So, we have this Haranir camp. Some Haranir show up, and these guys are like, yo, I'm going to ignore y'all. But we kind of work with them a little bit. And then as I go through the Orweyna story, you're going to see how they like her group go run off because these are an isolationist people, okay? They are protective of these roots that we see here. And that means this is the area where the roots are, okay? This is like, we heard about this book, Alunathir, in Dragonflight. The roots are here. They're not going to be in another zone, most likely. So this story has to be told. Again, these roots are a story too, and we want to see where the roots lead. Where is this place the roots lead? Their true home, their city. Do they live in the roots? I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see. And I hope it isn't just a side patch, because there's people that are going to be like, listen, to the people that are like, yo, Haranir just going to be a side patch. Literally, Blizzard would have dropped the ball so hard. There are people that want Sethrek. And I'm fine, and I'm for Sethrek too. The Haranir have a whole lot more like hyped up into them. I know it's just another elves. I know the snake people are going to be, but I'm pro snake. I'm pro Sethrek. But listen, unlike in BFA, these Haranir have so much added to them. Customizations, armor wearability, like people feel robbed of the Sethrek. If we are robbed of the Haranir, it's kind of crazy. And I like I said, I think a side patch, if they just do it a side patch, it's just too little. So get that out the way. We're talking, I'm 100% certain we're gonna get the full Haranir patch. I just hope they're playable right off the jump. We've been waiting so long. The people that have been wanting this have been waiting so long. But yeah, I imagine a zone. We got the Haranir stuff. We got this stuff. We got Titan stuff. Okay? We got Titan lore. We have Brynth. We have Dagrin. And now with these overcharged delves and whatnot, the Titans are up to something. But then we got to talk about the Black Blood. There's more stories to be told that involve the Black Blood, because it's flowing down. We see whole Titan area. I'm gonna fly down to the one area, over to the one area. But yeah, it's stories that we have to get through. The Black Blood is still a thing, I feel, because Orweyna has talked about the reason she came here is because she's having visions, right? Yeah, let's start with Orweyna. Actually, while we're flying to the area I want to show off, let's actually talk about Orweyna. Because, yeah, she started, and we meet her in Ashkahet, right? She's over here, she helps us, she saves us from the Kahidi. Alright? And then she's over here. Hold on, I'm getting distracted by flying. Let's just read the page, because I want to talk about Orweyna here, and then we'll head over. So Orweyna is the leader of the group of Haranir scouts we first meet in Ashkahet, right? She helps us out, and they're like, yo, why are you helping these people? We're supposed to be hidden. And she's like, yo, they needed help. The Radiant Song, the Earth, she's basically kind of following the Earth Mother, but that's shorthand. What do they call it? What does she call it? It's right here. It's in her quotes here. The world watch over you. Well, yeah, she's basically talking to the world. According to her, we are going to get back to the conspiracies at the end of the video, but she's basically hearing the Radiant Song like us, okay? So she helps us. She sees the Kahidi, the Black Blood, as a problem because they came here to find the source of the corruption. Because, here, I swear they told me. Yeah, so she's like, yo, the Black Blood is bad, and she wants to work to contain it, and her people forbade her from helping or meeting with strangers. Basically, like I said, they're isolationists, which is Night Elf-like, or early Night Elf-like, so maybe that's a Night Elf connection. But the Haranir don't want nothing to do with outsiders, so we help her in Ashkahet. Then in Lingering Shadows, her and her group are trying to investigate the Black Blood within Hollowfall. And her people are getting messed up. They say, yo, we're done. We're going back home. The people back home don't want us to do nothing. Don't want us to help out. They just want us to be complacent. That's kind of the vibe I got. But he kind of agrees with her, but he can't stay. So they head back home. But she's like, no, I gotta follow these visions for the world. Okay? Then she does say, like, yo, I will deal with the elders. Though she believed that their traditions were putting their home at risk, Orweyna did not fault them for their action and encouraged them to put the blame on her alone and promised that she would approach the elders in time. While unable to understand her convictions, Hannon admitted that he admired it and the two parted on friendly terms. Alright? Straight up, you read this, you're like, yo, Orweyna's important, right? Then we have her do the whole Witnessing the World Soul. We played through the Lingering Shadows quest. Then we see, yo, there's some stuff going on in the Ringing Depths, and we gotta figure something out. Then we, like, this is all during the Lingering Shadows quest. Then we have her and Magni have a direct conversation, right? Okay? Because both of them have been speakers for the world. Orweyna explains that her visions have led her to leave home and reveal herself despite her people's protests. Magni, empathizing with her struggles, advised her not to carry the burden alone. He encouraged her to seek out others who would walk the path beside her. We all played the questline. We all heard it. I'm going to go over the questlines here in a bit. But yeah, then we see her in Undermine. She's helping us out in Undermine. She does all this stuff in Undermine. And then at the end, okay, she says her goodbyes to Gazlo. She was content that they ended the Black Blood weapon project, though Gazlo suspected the Gallywix had backup plans for them. Inspired by his vision for his city's future, Orweyna realized that she could no longer follow her vision so narrowly. As she departed, Gazlo reminded her that she would always have friends in Undermine. Now, let's talk about the validity here. So, let's check these sources. Let's cite these sources. Let's go to the sources here. So, let's go to the quests. Cashing out, checks notes. And we just talk. Let's pull up the quotes. I cannot stay any longer. My visions call me elsewhere. Don't sweat it. This is a goblin's mess. We'll work it out ourselves. We put an end to the Blackblood weapons. That is enough for now. I wouldn't be too sure, but I know visions. But I know Gallywix. I don't know visions, but I know Gallywix. We shut down production in Undermine, but he has always made backup plans. You say you don't know visions, yet you have a vision for your city's future. One you did not possess before returning home to help your people. Not just because of your vision, but because of theirs. My goddess needed me to see that. When I follow my own visions, it will not be as narrowly as before. If you say so, just remember you got friends in Undermine if you need them. Now, these lines are going to come into play a little bit later when I talk conspiracies, but clearly, we are following Orweyna, right? It has become so obvious that we are now following this character. We've had a few little starter quests. We've had a couple more. Then we had the lingering shadows that led up to Undermine. Now, we don't see anything in the next patch, the 0.7, or now, but I find that really interesting because I feel like it's going to culminate. Either they're hiding it or it is in the 0.2 where this is all going to culminate. We're talking Worldcore, the Roots, the Haranir area being adjacent to this Worldcore area. Could the Titans activating for the Earthen have affected the Haranir area too? And again, I gotta head to this area in Ringing Deeps, because you gotta see, if you haven't been down to this area, which you probably have because you've probably done the delve, right? So down over here at Excavation Site 9, there's some crazy stuff going on, but there's a whole bunch of Titan stuff. So we know the Titans got a ton of stuff down here. What else do we know what's down here? The Freya Sworn. The Freya Sworn, we now know, basically dug out... I'm going the wrong way. Basically dug out this entire area for the facilities of Khazalgar. And then kind of basically deactivated because they knew too much or had their memory wipes at certain points. Like, there's a lot of, suspicion going around about what happened to the Freya Sworn, but we know that they helped carve out this area. So, we know there's more down here. And I mean, look at this. Look at the black blood flowing. It's basically old god blood flowed into Khazalgar, flowed into this crevice, flowed down and down. I've been saying follow the water. Here in Ringing Deeps, boom, they open up a zone right over here, down here, man. So, where else do we follow the water? The Ruptured Lake, where the Haranir are, where the Roots are. That whole area over there, if you follow the water down, the whole Ruptured Lake, water down, dude. We're going down. And I can't wait to see what they have in store down there. But yeah, if you've been in there, you'll see all the Titan facilities. So, in my opinion, there's more down here. The Coreway led down deeper. This isn't the bottom. Now, what do we know about the Haranir? I know I left the Haranir, but we're going down here. They're closed off. They're protectors of the Roots, and that's why I want to see like the full Roots, because we see the Roots little creeping out, but clearly what we're seeing over there isn't full. And I want to see if they are having a black blood infestation problem, like what led Orweyna out in the first place. You know, it could be conspiracy, which we're going to get to. Or it could just be like, yo, my people are being complacent. Maybe Xalatath's involved again. Again, it would just be a repeat, but, you know, we just see it done differently. We see maybe a little bit more twist on it because they talk about elders. So, you know, maybe one of the elders is Xalatath in disguise. Or maybe the elders are just complacent. You know, we just see... Maybe it wasn't black blood corruption, but we just see complacency with these people and Orweyna trying to change that. You know? Though you'd have to have maybe some corrupting force, but my idea is you have her dealing with the elders, dealing with that, and we have that city questline and all that stuff. Meanwhile, what would the raid be? The Worldcore itself, the Titans are activating. The Titans are coming out. And what would the Titans do? We've already seen the Titans throw hands against the Earthen. We see Titan facilities over here corrupted and flooded. If the Titans near the Worldcore, near the Haranir, maybe the Haranir are now dealing with the Titans. And now Orweyna's over here talking to the Earth, and the Haranir are going to be like, what the hell, why are you talking with the Earthen? And these people, they're pro-Titan. And we're going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We aren't pro-Titan. Let's help you. And then that be the central story. That's really what I'm feeling like what's going to be happening. And, like I said, I think Orweyna is going to be a key figure. And why am I 100%? Why have I been rambling about this for too long? Why is Orweyna important? Who cares about Orweyna? Why does Orweyna matter? But what's all this? This is the War Within. Okay, the War Within official cinematic, Shadows Beneath. Alright, let's see, what's up with this? I'm gonna show you real quick why the Orweyna matters. Alright, what did Blizzard cook here? What do they do here? Let's see. Alright, Earthen. War Within? Yeah, we did some Earthen stuff. I remember some Rant stuff. Farron? Yeah. She got some stuff. She did some stuff. We did Hollowfall. You know, Earthen had Ringing Depths, Isle of Dorn. Orweyna, she had, like 3 quest lines now. Where she was in it. 3 little quest lines. Yeah, we're actually helping her in the next patch. You know, kind of an epilogue. Kind of like, yo, I'm back in Arathi. This is kind of cool. I'm glad I did this little visit. You know, Earthen stuff. We did do some Earthen stuff. I think we need some more Earthen stuff. Orweyna, yeah. Still only 3 quests. Look at this area. This area's crazy. She's clearly important. I mean, look at her. Alright, Farron, again. Arathi, clearly going to be important. I feel like they're going to play a big deal. They're going to help us, especially come midnight. You know, you can become Arathi now in the Alliance. Kultirian humans. Yeah, the Arathi got a lot of stuff. Earthen got a lot of stuff in this expansion. Orweyna. A couple quest lines. A little area. Look at the 3 people they focus on. Earthy, Arathi, Earthen, the Forge. Alright. Ooh, spiders. Now we're getting a new character here. We did some spider stuff. Oh yeah, old gods. Yeah, we did spider stuff too. It feels like... We're going to talk about it more, but yeah, look at all this spider now. We got spider. That's Ansarek. We know what happened to her. Ooh, this was so cool though. I'm gonna be real, this was cool as hell. Look at that. The War Within. And then, oh my goodness, look, it's midnight. Look, it's Xalatath. She creeping. World Soul Saga, Part 1, War Within. War Within and the Shadows Beneath. And then look, midnight. Look at the hype for midnight. That is really while I just feel like all this ethereal stuff is they're just hyping up Midnight. Meanwhile, we literally have a character that's front and center. Alright, front and center in the cinematics. Let's look at these quests again. Alright, 4 quests in Friends in the Dark. Alright. We got a couple quests here. A couple quests here, and a couple quests there. I know the Earthen dude kind of represents a lot, and he wasn't like a main character, or I don't know what character he is. But the Earthen in general have a lot of story going. Do they need more story? Yes. Farron. Honestly, I feel like Farron got a lot of story. Okay? And she's doing fine. Especially since she's getting more next patch. The only character in that War Within intro cinematic that didn't get enough... I mean, you can say Ansorex. She got the opener. The spiders got the opener, the raid, you know, she got that. What did Orweyna get? Not enough to be that in that cinematic, unless 11.2 is going to be her patch. Now, what made me come to the conclusion that I am certain that this is the Orweyna Haranir patch? Well, I kind of came to this conclusion because I was started on a conspiracy theory, right? I was questioning. I'm like, I always knew Orweyna was good, but I was like, what if she was bad, right? What if she's bad? Because you remember the quote? Beware eyes of green, right? Beware eyes of green. One thing very prominent about Orweyna, very clearly, is eyes of green. Okay, so, what if we listen to that vision and eyes of green are actually bad? I don't want to think... Okay, listen. I don't think Orweyna's bad. I think she's going to be a cool character that leads us into 11.2. And we side with her versus these elders. And we get a faction of the Haranir... Or we get the Haranir to join the Alliance and Horde. And we get them as an allied race. Good time. But, what if Orweyna bad, though? Then I thought about Xal'atath. Have we ever seen Xal'atath in the same room as Orweyna? And I answered that question with no. And I was like, Xal'atath pretending to be Dresden? Clearly, that was obvious. If Xal'atath was pretending to be Orweyna, because I think she's good. I 100% think Orweyna is good. And that was a twist, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy, right? I mean, or life could be bad, you know, there's always the theory that the realm of life has their bad actors, and maybe she's gonna go crazy and do life conspiracy stuff. That's always the thing. I mean, that's kind of the theory that led me to think, what if Orweyna was bad? Someone put that out there. So shout out to the person. You put that theory out there, and I was like, I don't necessarily agree with that, but let me think, if Orweyna bad, what I could think of that, and she could just be Xal'atath in disguise, right? And she could be the force trying to... So, say Orweyna's bad, right? And she's Xal'atath. And she wants the Haranir to expose themselves so the roots are at risk, right? Orweyna could be used as a tool to do that. Maybe Orweyna could be used as an unwilling tool to do that. Maybe Orweyna's saying, I need to bring these people in to help, but that actually leads to the roots getting damaged by the Titans. You know, it could be that kind of thing. See, the more I get into it, the more I'm like, man. But yeah, and you could then see Xal'atath. We're just following Xal'atath. corrupting Nerubians, corrupting goblins, corrupting Haranir, and then in midnight, boop, Boyd Sunwell, bada boom, dementias, right? Because I see the ethereals, and I see the void, and I see midnight. All I see for the war within, the shadows beneath. We're going beneath, we're going below. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. Hell, you could even see it. Some people have said you could even have it so Belladar falls, right? So Belladar is, as far as we know, all that we know and all signs point to Belladar being a what is called a world soul crystal, right? Hardened crystal azurite, basically. And I know people want to say, oh, but it looks like a Naru ship and it looks like that. You know what? Well, Balin needs to show up and tell us. But as far as we know, I think it fits. You can see crystallization like that. The magic effects and designs and stuff, you see magic, right? We live in a magical world, right? That falling, right, into the undersea would cause a lot of freaking water to rush. Something like that could lead us down below her. The Coreway could lead us down below her. Maybe all of the things lead us down below her. The Coreway's fix. The crystal falls. The roots shift. Orweyna just leads us through the spot. The Freya Sworn return. There are so many ways that we can get lower into Khazolgar, and that's where I feel like we're going. I really do. And that's why I think 11.2 is the Orweyna Haranir patch. Agree with me? Don't. I'm 100% in my belief. And if it's not... oh well, I'm going to be playing the game either way. Like, what? I just hope, like, for sure the Haranir got to be playable at some point, man. You don't make thick elves like that and not make them playable. But yeah, that's what I think. I think all the ethereal crush stuff, I'm 100% certain that's midnight hype. We are now getting hype for expansions in the future because we're in a saga. And I kind of like that. I wonder what else we're getting hinted at. I also think Arathi are going to be irrelevant, so we're getting some hints of the Arathi showing up. Y'all know my theories about Stratham. But yeah, and then, you know, in Midnight, we'll probably see some hints about stuff going on in Northrend. But yeah, I'm for sure certain now that we are going over here. We are following the water. We are following the roots. We are following Orweyna to the Haranir. And we are following the Coreway to the Worldcore. And we're going to see... dude, if we get to the bottom of the Worldcore, we're going to see the World Soul. We're going to be able to look down and see the World Soul. That's going to be crazy looking. Oh man, I hope we do see that. That'll be kind of crazy. Maybe that would be too much. But yeah, look at this. The roots. They're leading us. Oh. They're leading us down. But yeah, that's it. I've ranted enough. But that's my right. The rant. In a lore rant. Dude. I can only hope after Undermine that we get a zone that has Haranir City, Azeroth Worldcore, and then whatever the raid stuff's gonna be. I can only hope that's gonna look so cool. The way I imagine it is kind of like, love it or hate it, but Zareth Mortisy, but maybe less straight line of like desert area, green area, but more of like, I do feel like it's going to be a mix of a couple of biomes. But yeah, that's what I think. Thank you for listening to me rant, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.